Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's. It's turning out that this is coming a little weekly ritual, in fact. So welcome, welcome. We are bringing you, we've got Liz, Natasha and Juliette, and we are your hosts of the Essence Retreat. And we are doing a mini series where each of us takes over a little session around bringing you some of the juice and some of the magic and some of the expertise that we will be bringing to life inside the Essence Retreat. So the Essence Retreat, for those of you who have not heard, where have you been, is it's our second retreat. This time it's going to be in the gorgeous British countryside in a country home just south of London. It is going to be on the 23rd of September. That's the core day. And then for those of you who want to stay longer and have part of the VIP experience, which is a meal that evening, and then a very personalized session the following day, you can extend the retreat experience to the 24th of September.
Yes, going to be really an incredible weekend or day if you choose to come just for the one day. All the details are in the post above or below, and there's a link with all the juicy details as well. But yes, we're going to give you a little flavour of what you might expect, just a tiny little drop in the ocean of what you'll experience throughout the day and the weekend if you choose to come for the weekend. And last week in part one, I did an Akashic activation live in this little video, so you can head to one of our bios and you can find that there if you want to get a little flavor of knowing and understanding a little bit more about the Akashic work. And today we're going to hear a bit more from the beautiful Juliette.
Thank you, my love. So first of all, I wanted to just say how the three of us, how we met. We met a year and a bit ago in London because we're in this mastermind together and absolutely loved each other's energy. We're like, okay, something's got to come from this. So we had the most incredible, beautiful retreat in London, 1 day experience, luxurious in a hotel. And then we thought, it's gorgeous, but it's kind of missing that nature piece. So 23rd and 24th of September, if you do stay for the VIP experience at night, that will be essential gastronomic experience. So using all our senses to really tap into what it is, what food is, how we experience it. Because so often we just kind of like grab and go, we're on the go and we eat something quickly and hey, I know it. And it actually leads me to something that happened yesterday and really to notice that when we get triggered, there are some beautiful glimmers in it. There are some beautiful moments that if we have awareness to what's happening, then it's like, oh, that is the first step towards self-love. That's the first step towards unmantling where we might have, stuckness, where we might not be emotionally completely mature enough to move through it or not even realize that we're doing this, right? So yesterday, was it yesterday? No, what is it today? Friday, Wednesday. I don't even know where we are anymore. But Wednesday I was on a Zoom call and all of a sudden my computer crashed. We had no internet. She had no internet. Everything just crashed. And I could not get back in my computer. So new computer, bought it January. So I'm like, there's nothing wrong here. Can't be wrong. But it locked me out. And I'm Googling how to get back into it. No, couldn't do it. So emotionally, I'm like, oh my God. I need to get back online. Because I've got 2 podcasts, my own podcast that's coming out next week. And then I'm a guest on 2 other podcasts. What am I going to do? Run to Alex, my partner who's here. I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this? And he tries it, resets it, reboots it. And we're like, not working. It's like, that's my password. Did you change my password? Who changed my password? Who came in here and wiped my computer, right? You immediately, your mind takes you to probably the most extreme things. And then I was like, okay, I've got a computer somewhere. I fixed my old one. It should be somewhere in the house. And of course, at that moment, You can't find it. Probably, I still haven't found it. But I walked to the fridge, poured myself some minced meat, put it in the microwave, and ate it. And it was like, oh, this is where it's really uncomfortable to have these high sensations. And this is what I deal with my clients, right? It's, you've had an experience and it's super uncomfortable. Most of us aren't very comfortable with high sensations. So we'll do things like eating or drinking or eating sugar or Netflix or scrolling or whatever it is to not have to feel those sensations.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of you are like, yeah, I've done that. And it's, I'm not beating you up. I'm not, I'm not smacking you, although I could. My tongue can come out. But it's really noticing, where can we start becoming aware of that actually this is still held in us.
Yeah.
So that was Wednesday. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, and I got everything back online. I talked to Apple. It was all perfect, but it took a little while for my prefrontal cortex to get back online, right? For that part of your brain that can resonate, can really get back online. So that took a while. Talked to Apple, all fine. And then yesterday it was like, oh, the energy was so high. So today I'm going to ground you. My body was like, you haven't actually completed that cycle. So I started getting really, like dizzy. My tummy was upset. I couldn't leave the house for more than 5 minutes, if you understand my meaning. And it was like, my body was just tremoring. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. This is the somatic experiencing I do with people. Like, let's actually get into a tremor so that we can release all the stuck instances that we've had in our lives. And we've all had multiple ones. And then you can let go of it. So I spent pretty much the afternoon lying on, or in the morning, midday, until 4 or 5 o'clock, lying on the sofa with my doggy in a beautiful surrounding, tremoring, moving stuff through, drinking water, just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm in a puddle. I've been doing this work for over 20 years. So I'm like, whoa, it is actually really, really beautiful to see that, that we can be so aware of what happens in our body and that we can then move it through. Because if you look at, say, a dog, my dog just now, we were just about to get on, and then one of the big paintings of my daughter fell, and she's here like, tremoring. It's Whippet. She tremors and shivers a lot.
Yes.
But this is what happens in the animal kingdom. They move traumatic, intense experiences, something that scared them. They move it through their body by tremoring. So in the retreat, we will definitely do some tremoring. I'll be using my shamanic drumming a little bit to get this moving in your body, but it's in a really safe space where you're well held. I've had years and years and years of working with people with massive, things that have come up. And also I want to tell you that it doesn't have to be difficult. It can actually just move like that. And then you'll be like, wow, it's kind of like a bubble can just pop and you're like, oh, there's so much more available to me. And the funny thing is, you'll know if this retreat is for you because either you're watching or you've gotten the direct code, because we're all transmitting codes, right? We have that in our voices, and that is what you pick up. You pick up on that energy. And the thing is, the moment that you even think that this might be for you, and this moment when you have a desire, it's like, oh, I think this is something cool for me. But then you'll start to say, oh, but it's too much money, or it's too far away. It doesn't actually suit me. And that is your subconscious brain trying to keep you safe. All right. I'm a hypnotherapist. I do a lot of stuff with the brain. And this is where awareness really is that first step to love. This is really where it's like those triggers, like, oh, I like that, but It's not in my comfort zone. I don't know these women. Can I really afford to spend a day away from my children? My children need me. My husband needs me. Oh, but that's selfish. Just start becoming aware of what you're saying to yourself, because emotional intelligence and becoming aware of the body sensations, what's happening in your body, what emotions are coming up, what thoughts are coming up. And then oftentimes it's also what image is coming up, because any experience can be broken down into those 4 elements. And to move through something, the only way out is through. So we have to go through it, we have to duplicate it, we have to experience it, we have to fully feel it. And then after a while, that's it. It's gone. There's no charge left anymore, because that is the problem. It's still something that happened, but you're just like, oh yeah, that's something that happened to me, and it doesn't define me. I don't feel strong about it. It's like, yeah, this is, because people, when they hear some of my stories, they're like, whoa, that's intense. I'm like, yeah, I guess, because I've moved through it. But yeah, we don't have to get stuck in emotional things. We don't have to get stuck. The intense experiences, the fright, the scaredness doesn't have to get stuck in our body. So that's how we move it through, and that's how we get much more intentional with bringing in sexuality and sensuality and scrumptiousness and actually feeling what pleasure is. So I'm excited for this.
Yes.
I'm excited to take all of you through this journey of becoming in touch with yourself. You know, our minds, the body that Liz is taking us through. Natasha, sorry. I looked at Nicole, your middle name. I've never called you Nicole. Natasha is going to take you through where your soul has been communicating with you. And for me, I link it where your subconscious mind has been keeping you emotionally hostage, and where it's like we can just break free of those shackles, have a hell of a lot of fun time, and then bring in the sensuality, bring in the pleasure, bring in the laughter, bring in the fun, because the 3 of us have a lot of fun together, and the women that were with us last time had a heck of a good time.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, because exactly everything you were just talking about there, and that piece around being held, subconscious holding you emotionally hostage.
Yeah, powerful.
So powerful. And it's such a big piece actually of a lot of the conversations that I have with my ladies, and I'm working more on the physical body, on our hormones. But when we have those little nuggets, those little rocks or knots, like they're stuck inside, and quite often we might not necessarily recognize they're there. We know if they're there if we think back, but they sort of start kind of getting heavier. And quite often, a lot of the women that I'm working with have lost that awareness that you've been talking about today. And having that awareness brings us back into conversations with our body, because these thoughts, these feelings, these subconscious nuggets, or at the end of the day, comes down to biochemistry. Their hormonal responses inside our body creates quite a lot of the dis-ease that we experience in our bodies, whether that is women is expressed in our monthly menstrual cycles. If we're progressing into perimenopause and menopause, we see that come up. So the earlier we can start having this awareness, even if it's just a tiny bit, like Juliette was saying from her experience just when she was getting the minced beef and the cheese, it's like, okay, this is that response. Just that type of awareness, those little micro moments of awareness start to create shifts and changes that have such a huge cascade effect on all of the aspects of our physiology, but then our world and our relationships, our confidence, the decisions we make.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable. And that's kind of what that is what we bring together in the retreat at a level that's right for you. Because I think sometimes when we talk about, trapped emotions and sensuality or sexuality, that can actually feel a little scary for some people. But it's about actually making it comfortable and relevant for you, and then making it fun. And the retreat is around making all of this fun, so you can come back to yourself, come back to your essence, which is why we called the retreat Essence.
Yes, definitely. And it doesn't have to be difficult and challenging. It's these emotional responses, these responses are so unconscious sometimes, so subconscious. And so they come from from past experiences in this lifetime. And that's where I look at things, is like going past, further into the past. So past lives. So they are super conscious. They're so deeply ingrained in our DNA to respond in that way, to protect us, to make us feel safe, to ground us, to take us away from the pain, that all the discomfort that we're feeling. So it really does allow us to shine a little bit of a light on it. And the light is soothing, it's warm, it allows us to expand into an experience and start to learn how to do things differently through awareness. And so we're going to use all the senses throughout the retreat. We're going to be doing the movement. I mean, I just like, the shaking, the tremoring is so powerful in releasing something from us from a cellular level. And I do a lot of movement work in the mornings, because just to move my sleep out of me, the things that where I've been going, what I'm waking up with, just to move into a different feeling vibration. And it's been so powerful for me to just move for 10-15 minutes. But we're going to have sensory experiences through taste and hearing, and the sounds with the shamanic drumming, and taste as well with cacao ceremony, the food we're going to have. Everything's going to be coming back to the sensuality of everything we do, that we move through. So not just one thing. We're going to be looking at how we flow with our soul essence, who we are at soul level, how we flow with our physical body, and start to create a stronger, deeper relationship with our bodies and our hormones, but also with our emotions as our signposts to what's going on and what we need to become more aware of. So it's going to be super powerful.
So I think that sums it up. This is not a place that you just come and listen. You actually experience it. So you take part in this experience, you'll pair up with others and share your experience so that you can go into smaller little groups. It's also not a massive retreat. We're consciously keeping this quite private, quite high end, because we know that people want to be vulnerable, but being too vulnerable in a big group, that can blow someone's nervous system out. So we're all about regulating the nervous system. That's part of what I do. So it's going to be a small group of women only this time. And you will experience, we're going on an experiential journey where you get to experience what it is like to feel yourself fully, to be in that essence of who you are. So all the details are either below or on top, like Natasha said.
Somewhere.
I think
they're up.
In our bios, in the link trees. So please, if you like this, and if you can't find the link, just DM us saying, hey, I'm really interested. I want to come to the Essence Retreat. I know something is getting activated in me, and can you just, can you let me know? Or just, have a DM with us, have a conversation with us in Messenger. Okay.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to share with you what's coming. And it is exciting. It's going to be expansive. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be coming back to you, fully you. Experience yourself, all your essence. See you soon.